Some key decisions have helped make Bloomington a successful city. Let's take a deeper look at how those big decisions were made.
Hi, I'm Larry Lee. I worked for the city for 40 years, leading the Community Development Department as Bloomington grew and changed.
Today, let's look at an asset both residents and visitors love: Bloomington's extensive parks and open spaces. Do you know how Bloomington came to have nearly a third of its area set aside for open space? Greg Ingram, the manager of Parks and Recreation during the 1990s, tells us the story.
Bloomington has so much open space for a lot of reasons. One is because I think of the exceptional natural resources and then the foresight to preserve those resources. Affording parks and open spaces is always a challenge, but in Bloomington's case, they were pretty blessed because they only really had to afford or pay for about half of that. So the federal government really kicked in big time in terms of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Refuge. And also I think LawCon grants, which are land and water conservation grants that are matched by the city, helped acquire a lot of that. Three Rivers Parks, at the time it was called Hennepin Parks, was really instrumental in funding that, along with funding the regional park, along with the Metropolitan Council.
There were other contributing factors, including advocacy for playfields by the Bloomington Athletic Association and park dedication when land was subdivided for development.
And essentially it's a requirement or a law that has developers at the time they build subdivisions or develop land, they are required to dedicate either some land for parks and trails and open space or dedicate cash in lieu of land.
All these factors help create the spacious, open green landscape we enjoy today. Bloomington's area is 38 square miles. 11.5 square miles is open space. There are about 100 parks in Bloomington, and 99% of the population is within walking distance of at least one of them. Open space is a benefit for residents, for businesses, and for visitors alike.
People are healthier when they have the chance to recreate, to get out, both physically and mentally, and that's certainly a huge aspect in our society right now. There's protection from flooding with preserving that land so it doesn't impact development. And then there's visitor spending. A lot of both sports teams and people come to Bloomington for the recreational and environmental opportunities that parks have. And then I would also say that economic development. There's a real kind of quid pro quo between proximity to parks and the desirability and value of land, and that spurs development.
One prominent example is Normandale Lake.
But it really has turned out to be a tremendous asset to the increased development that's occurred. And business development. And you look at just during noontime, how many people come out of those office buildings, take a spin around that lake during lunchtime. They're healthier, they're happier.
The Minnesota Valley National Wildlife Refuge is another significant asset. It's one of only 3 urban wildlife refuges in the whole country.
Senator Dave Durnberger was really a legislative champion of it. And then there was a lot of local people that were really the advocates and kind of the grassroots driving force. Those kind of people really helped get it on the map and get it going. And it was that strong ethic to preserve that whole area. And it's not only in Bloomington, it goes from Fort Snelling all the way down to Le Sueur, Minnesota. So it's really a unique habitat and recreational opportunity.
While Bloomington is unique for its open spaces, sustained action is needed to maintain and improve these amenities.
I think one big one is that it is such an extensive park system that park revitalization and kind of repair and maintenance is kind of an ongoing challenge, and funding that as well will be a challenge in the future. The other aspect is just simply the demographics in Bloomington have changed quite a bit since that early time when there was a lot of families. Now it's kind of switched over and there's a lot of old folks like myself that are still active but use the parks in different ways. That plus the changing diversity within our society. There's a lot of folks that maybe aren't park users or not familiar with the opportunities within parks, so raising awareness of that I think is really going to be important in the future.
To help carry on Bloomington's reputation of being a great place to live, to work, and to play.
I'm Larry Lee. I hope you enjoyed this segment on open space decisions in Bloomington. Join us for the next segment on a Bloomington Big Decision.